Welcome back. Conflict in the Mideast entering day 6. Israel saying another 50 fighter jets struck Iranian targets overnight. The U.S. closed its embassy in Jerusalem, will be closed for the rest of the week. President Trump is demanding unconditional surrender of Iran, as he says he knows where the Ayatollah is hiding, but is not yet going to take him out. The president also reportedly considering U.S. military involvement should things escalate further. Joining me now is Montana Congressman Ryan Zinke, a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, good to see you. What would you like to see the U.S. do next?
Well, great to see. I think it's important in the context, too, is that remember that Iran is the #1 sponsor of terrorism. Hezbollah, Hamas, all are from Iran. And it was Father's Day over the weekend. At least 500 U.S. citizens, U.S. soldiers, didn't return home because of Iran's direct involvement in materials and intelligence. And that's an important part to remember. Going forward, I don't think Israel had a choice, quite frankly. Iran was at the point where they're going to manufacture thousands of ballistic missiles. And it's not too far to go from a ballistic missile to an intercontinental missile. And I do believe they were a lot closer to having their primitive weapon now, or be able to weaponize one of the ballistic missiles. So yeah. Going forward, I think it's Iran's choice, quite frankly. Do they give up their nuclear program? Do they reject having a nuclear weapon? Or this will continue, and I believe it will escalate. I think President Trump has been crystal clear in that Iran will not be allowed to have a nuclear weapon.
Yeah.
Bad for Israel, it's obviously bad for us, and it's bad globally, and it would destabilize the region. It's thus already destabilized. So I think going forward, if they don't give up their nuclear weapon aspirations, I think we'll see an escalation. They'll lose their Navy, they'll lose their Air Force, they'll lose their ability to produce and export energy.
Well, the leadership of the nuclear programs are eliminated, have been eliminated. Now we know that the Ayatollah Khomeini is hiding out. President Trump said he knows where he is, but he's not going to take him out yet. I mean, are you expecting a regime change?
If they continue their present course and speed, Maria, yes. You know, and we have nothing against the Iranian people. I mean, we have a lot of friends that are Persian, wonderful people, very clever, great history, great culture, but it's the regime. And may I remind you a quote, that females in custody should be raped before they are executed so they don't go to heaven. That's a direct quote. It's incomprehensible that we would actually look at that quote, but that's the leadership of Iran. They are evil. Again, they're the greatest sponsor, the biggest sponsor of terrorism. The Houthis, Hamas, Hezbollah, all comes from the head of the snake. So they have a choice. Either they give up nuclear weapons or it will continue and escalate.
All of this in the middle of the Senate's deadline to get the big, beautiful bill across the finish line. The Congressional Budget Office now says President Trump's bill would widen deficits by nearly $3 trillion. The Senate Finance Committee releasing its bill revisions on Monday. I want to get your take on that because it includes major tax reforms, steeper Medicaid cuts than the House called for, a lower cap on the state and local tax deduction, bringing it back down to $10,000 from the House's $40,000 cap. American small business is also expected relief with tax burdens cut, reshoring of American manufacturing, ending the war in the gig economy, no tax on tip, overtime. Congressman, do you expect to get this back in the House around the end of June? And what are your expectations for getting this over the finish line?
You know, actually, I'm a lot more positive on the big, beautiful bill. I think the biggest important is that the U.S. will not be saddled with the largest tax increase in history. There's a lot in for the middle class, that's working businesses. So there's a lot of goodness in there. Was it big enough on the savings? Probably not. But the big hedge is growth. Is it allowing Americans to have more money in their pocket and make sure that they don't get on taxes? That's an important one. And small businesses. I think he's been very, very careful on Medicaid and Medicare to make sure the cuts are focused on getting rid of the fraud, waste, and abuse.
Yeah.
If we got rid of the fraud, we'd be a lot better off. But no, I think talking to Thune, talking to the Senate leadership, I think it's moving along. It's moving along at a much faster pace than, quite frankly, I thought. The big issue is this, everyone's concerned about already the midterms are coming up. I think there's 3 things in the midterms. One, does the economy turn? Do the tariffs stabilize? Do we get trade agreements? And lastly, what about the interest rates? And the interest rates, I think, are taxed to everyone if they continue to rise.
Yeah.
Lower interest rates be excellent for everybody, including the federal government, so we wouldn't have to pay $1 trillion a year in interest. So
Right.
a big, beautiful bill tied in there. I'm pretty optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that you don't hear Jay Powell talking about the impact of the level of rates on our debt, given that we're paying more on the interest than we are on defense. But Congressman, do you expect that you're going to see an unwinding of any support once this bill comes back from the Senate? Because, Mike Lawler will be joining us today, and he said that, that SALT deduction needs to go back up. And, of course, Warren Davidson was one of two no's on the bill before the House sent it to the Senate. And I spoke with him yesterday. Here's what he said. Watch. Are you willing to take this so far as to blow up the president's agenda? What is your problem with this bill? Is it debt and deficits? Are you going to vote yes on it?
Well, I didn't vote on it the last time. The problem is, as I said, there's only one Congress we control. It's the one we're in. And frankly, we control this presidential term, and it never spends less money. I could live with the fact that it spends a little more money and it grows deficits for a year or two if by the end of President Trump's term, it's back below the current level of the deficit. The current level of the deficit isn't sustainable. That's why we've campaigned. That's why we pushed DOGE. That's why Elon Musk is saying this is going the wrong direction.
Yeah,
we're trying to save money.
So you're willing to blow up the president's agenda. You're willing to blow up the president's agenda then?
I'm not voting for a bill that grows deficits, Maria.
Congressman, how do you get out of this?
Well, this is to handle SALT first. All right. If you have $10,000 today and you're going to get $20,000 tomorrow, I think that's a pretty good deal. Do I think $40,000 is too high? Yes. And so does the Senate. So Mike Lawler has a choice. Do you stay at 10? Or do you get something in return? I tell you, having to double at 20, if it lands at 20, I think it's a pretty good deal for Mike Lawler in New York. Secondly, on the deficit, I think we're all concerned about the interest rates. We're all concerned about going further into debt. The hedges growth on this, and to make sure, again, that the middle class, working Americans, small businesses don't get saddled with the largest tax increase in the history of this country. So you got to take that into consideration. Do I think the savings could have been more? Yes, but this is a big start. To cut anything around this city is almost impossible. Mm-hmm. But we did back off on Medicaid, on the fraud, waste, and abuse. We focused on that. A lot of programs contracted. That's good. I think this is a one big step forward. Is it beautiful? Well, it's in the eyes of the beholder a lot of times, but I'm pretty optimistic. At the end of the day, you know what? We're going to have a bill. The bill is going to be very, very much like what came from the House, as it should. Then it's going to have their little touch on it. It'll be a little less salt, a little more pepper. But I think at the end of the day, it gets through. And look, this is the big thing, and we can't fail. This is, from a former SEAL perspective, this is a no-fail mission. Yeah. So let's focus on getting it through. Let's focus on it's not going to be perfect because it's government. Yeah. And government, by definition, is far from perfect.
All right. You're talking to your colleagues now. Yeah. Yeah, I got you. Congressman, it's great to see you this morning.
And Americans, look, the president's agenda, this is my agenda. There's a lot in this bill that says Donald J. Trump, let's just get it done. And I'm pretty optimistic. At the end of the day, the vote's going to be in.
We'll be watching. Congressman, good to see you this morning. Ryan Zinke, thank you, sir.